Hello everybody peeps. I think this is actually my first ever response video in the 3 years plus I've been making YouTube videos. It's a response to Pete Snestastic. Pete, the famous Snestastic, everybody's friend. Yeah, I mean it's unlikely, but if you haven't seen his video, it was entitled. Was it entitled something like Deflated, Frustrated, something, and it was about how I mean, it's unlikely you've not seen it, you know, if you're one of my subscribers, but it's about how he's become sort of disillusioned with a good chunk of his collection, mostly the disc-based stuff, and shipped it all out, and just concentrated it down because he's having an existential crisis about it all, and he asked for some video responses about how we all see ourselves, and I thought, yeah, I'll do one. I said I've not done one before, but this is my story as far as that goes. I started making videos back in 2010, I think, February, but I was collecting video games way before that, and just encountering YouTube and seeing people making videos about buying video games, I thought, you know, these are people doing what I do. But it didn't really alter what I was doing. I was still going out, you know, I'd been doing it before YouTube, and I was still going out, you know, going on the scrounge for video games in charity shops and cash converters and places like that. I mean, my basic standpoint is I don't see my video games. I just point out what I've got in. I mean, that is the vast majority of my 360 set of games. That is my whole Wii collection. That is my GameCube collection, and plus obviously behind the corner that you can't see. I think I can move it around there. There you go. See, there's some tucked around behind the corner, but yeah, it's like you see, it's not massive. I mean, back here, down here, the PS1 games along the top. That's about 2/3 of my PS1 collection. I've got a few random games. These are all my, you know, the ones I selected to go in the shelf of not reverence, but I don't know. And down there, that's about half of my PS2 games. But undoubtedly, that's more games than I can play at any one time. Obviously, I mean, 2 would be more games than I can play at any one time. But I've never, even before YouTube, I've never felt the pressure to play them all. I see these games as Pete referred to as a library, and I only ever see them as something that excites me. I'm excited by the possibilities of playing all of these games. I don't ever feel the pressure to play them, to get them played, you know, to play through them at least once. And I'll go back to where is it? There you go. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. This is a decent example. One of my favourite games, and one of my favourite games. One of my favourite PS1 games. One of my favourite games in general. You know, predictably, but still. To this day, it's the only game I've ever bought on launch day. I actually took the day off college back in, was it 90? I've got one. 97 was it released? I can't remember now. 97 and 98. I took the day off college to go up to Game on Oxford Street to go and get it, and for my efforts, I got a free T-shirt with it as well. I don't know whether, I think the T-shirt's long gone. It was a really shitty T-shirt, I'll put it that way. You know, it's not like something you'd want to keep as a memento or as a collectible. But the fact is, it's one of my favourite PS1 games. As I said, one of my favourite Final Fantasy games. And so therefore one of my favourite games in general. But it's also true to say that I've not played it in years. It will get, it no doubtedly it will get played again before I die. But I don't feel the pressure to get it played. I don't see any of these games, I don't see this selection of games as a noose around my neck. It's like everyone will have a selection of music. They'll have a selection of DVDs, or generally you might not have one or the other, but you'll have a selection. You might have a few. But, everyone will have books, or some of us will have books. Some of us have DVDs. We've all obviously got video games, but it's music, especially. I see music as a way to I listen to a certain song to either reflect a mood or enhance a mood or to change a mood, and I don't really see my games as being any different. If I was to cut this collection down, right down, it wouldn't be as it wouldn't be as sort of varied and as interesting as it is. There would be less. What's the word I'm trying to think? I can't think of the word. What's the word? Don't know. But that's what it is. I mean, it's a library of games, and I only ever treat them as something that if I ever really get the hankering to play, I can just pick it off the shelf. That's why I've got them like this. I've got them on this shelf because they're easy just to pick off the shelf like that. I don't double stack them. It's a really simple thing, but I don't double stack them primarily because I can't get my hand in there. I can't get easy access to them. I mean, the PS2 games are a bit squeezed in at the bottom, and they're quite difficult to get out. Not like majorly difficult. I'm not a crowbar or anything, but they don't sort of slide out like the PS1. Jesus Christ, it's turning into slide out. Oh. but in other words, they're sort of squeezed in. I find that it's just my weird obsessive sort of sensibilities. But that's just an example. I mean, I can't get easy access to them as I would like to, just purely because they're squeezed in. Whereas the PS1 games are different because they're not squeezed in right down to the last millimetre. But so they're a library. I don't see them as a noose around my neck or a weight on my shoulders. I'm excited by the immense possibilities of them all. If depending on what I feel like playing at any one time. If you cut all your games down, you're not going to have that. And they don't have a shelf life. So there's no I don't see the pressure in that sense either. I think contemporary games, especially with their reliance on online play, they do have more of a shelf life. Because obviously with things like any online multiplayer games, servers are going to go down at some point. So in that sense, there's more of a pressure to play them. Which maybe that's why I don't hold this generation in such high regard. Because I'm just really relaxed about all of it. I don't listen to. I take in other people's own stories, but I don't listen to them in regards as sort of applying to myself. You know, I listen to them and I respect other people's own stories, but as far as having an effect on me and how I treat my game collection, they're irrelevant, because I'll always do the same thing, and I always have. I mean, in the past I've spoken about my list. I often talk about my list. Actually, it irritates me how often I talk about my list, and I stick to it. Not exclusively, but I do stick to it. I do still add things to it. I add less to it now than I used to, but that's just the way of keeping an eye on everything. I mean, I won't ever go out of control. I'm aware of all games I buy. I don't often take absolute gambles, just random purchases. Maybe if it's just a game. I think, where is it actually? Where is it? Spoke about it. There it is. Mass Destruction. Now, I spoke about it in one of my recent videos. That was just a random gamble, in the sense it wasn't a gamble at all. It was only 1 penny. It was a gamble in the sense that if I didn't like it, it would be something that I'd want to move on. It's sort of like an inefficient part of my gaming collection. But that's how I've always been. I mean, I'm careful about what I buy. There's no slack, especially in anything on this shelf. There's no slack. And I have taken a look in my PS2 collection. I wouldn't say any slack at all. I've got one or two. I've got one or two funny gifts that I've got people as jokes that, in all fairness, I'm unlikely to ever play. I think, what was it? It was a Beach Bandits or something that Cod2 fan gave me as a present a few years ago. That made me laugh. I still owe him a gameplay video. I'm not sure he watches my videos anymore, but anyway, I still owe him a gameplay video. That'd be funny. But as far as it turning into my favourite ever game, I can't see it, but it's going to stay, because it's something that somebody's given me, and I cherish it even more for that reason. But no, I'm just really relaxed about it. I can't ever see myself stressing about any of this. I mean, the likelihood is that a lot of these games will be unplayed by the time I shuffle off this mortal coil. But that doesn't stress me at all. I'm just, like I said, I'm excited by the possibilities of all of these games in front of me. And I'll continue to buy them. I mean, the only way I'll ever be stressed about it is if I become destitute. If I become destitute because of it. That's not likely to happen, and I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to happen to. I mean, I respect everybody's choices. I respect everybody's choices as far as games they buy. So, we're all grown-ups, aren't we? And we're all allowed to make our own choices. But I mean, my DVD collection, that's just a fraction of it. I've got a few books there. My DVD collection, again, I don't stress about watching them. I usually buy DVDs I've seen before, but sometimes I buy DVDs I've heard of. And a lot of those I've not seen before. They're still unwatched after a few years, but it doesn't worry me. Really, it doesn't worry me. And in total honesty, I'm a bit. I'm just relaxed with that. I'm a bit slightly perplexed as to the stress that it creates sometimes in people who make videos. That's not criticism by any means, but I think when I see a lot of people talking about it in that sense, I think maybe am I doing something wrong? But if I ever think that I'm doing something wrong, maybe I'm just time to give up. But I can say with 100% honesty. I was going to say 99% honesty, but that would have been a lie. I can say with 100% honesty that I'll never take this as a chain around my neck, as a ball and chain. I'll never take any one of these games as something that has to be played here and now. You know, and I'll never take it as something that I'll regret if I ever die having not played them. You know, if I do play them, great. But of the games I've never played before, there's something exciting to discover. Of the games I have played before, the appeal's different because there's no nostalgia and the excitement of going back to something that's cosy and familiar. But again, I don't stress about it. Just excites me. And there you go. I'm pretty certain, before I made this video, I had other points to make, but as far as me remembering what they were, I think you can pretty much write that off. But yeah, I mean, this isn't my whole collection. There's no original Xbox games here, and there's a fair, just a small pile of Mega Drive games, and just a general carts, and a small selection of DS games as well. But if I was to put shelves all the way down to the bottom, that's the drinks cabinet there with the white doors. My collection would easily fit in that corner, but as well as obviously those shelves. Yeah, of course. But again, it's not something I stress about. I don't want to give anyone any advice. Because I respect people as adults with their own minds. But there you go, I'm chilled out about it. I think that's the end of my video. Woohoo! I don't think I've got much more to say. I'll let you go. I won't bore you any longer. Over 17 minutes. I thought this was going to be an under 10-minute job, but no. Apparently, I've been speaking. I've had more to say than I thought I would have, which is generally how things work. And I'm demonstrating that exactly now. This weird sort of irony in there, isn't there? Anyway, I'll let you go. Thanks for watching. Like Pete suggested, he was up for getting video responses, and I'd encourage other people to do the same. It's always nice to see other people's perspective. But so yeah. See you later, peeps. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put you down and turn you off. So see you later. I'm not done yet. Don't get rid of me that easily. I've just remembered saying some other things I wanted to say. I knew there was something I wanted to say, something else. I knew it. That's what comes from not having notes. My jumble of a brain needs them. But yeah. One of the major points I wanted to make was about the fact that because I am undoubtedly careful about what I buy, I pass up a lot of stuff when I'm out. Pass up a lot of stuff. I mean, that might not be so obvious by the amount of stuff I sometimes show in my pickups videos, but I do pass up a lot of stuff. Primarily because I don't take so much of a gamble over it. So I'm like I said, I'm careful about what I buy, but also at the same time I don't get rid of a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just basically like things like the games I will get rid of, the duplicates, and sort of the odd one or two that I discover that I don't like. But that's pretty rare, if I'm honest. I like to give games a chance, even if I initially don't like them. But you're one or two that you just don't gel with, but that is rare. But in the past, I've got rid of certain games that I've loved. Where is it? Certain games I've loved. Suikoden's probably the main one actually. I had that before I had Suikoden 2, and I think somewhere down the line it got traded to CEX when they used to still take PS1 games. This must have been way back, sort of early 21st century. But I've taken that, my reaction to not having that to play, as I've almost sort of applied it to the rest of my games, because I missed it. And I do know this, other people do this as well. I missed it almost straight away. Once it wasn't there to play, I wanted it back straight away, and it must have taken about a good 10 years for me to get another copy. So I've sort of, that's sort of how I work as regards my collection. You know, I'm just really wary about getting rid of things because I know I'll miss them. You know, and the Suikoden is the prime example of that. But my collection is varied. It's varied. I think a lot of people who do watch my videos might know that I'm big into my RPGs, but also things like shooters. You know, traditional side-scrolling or vertical scrolling shoot-em-ups, or one-on-one fighters generally. But I'm also like the novelties, and it's just about having that variation to suit a mood. Having, I don't always want to play an RPG. I mean, that's sort of borne out by the fact I've not played, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I've not played Final Fantasy VII in years. You know, it is one of my favourite games, but there's an investment to be had there. Time investment, a major time investment. Sometimes you want something lighter, something like a shooter, and shooters are easier to pick up. But again, it's all about having that variation. And also, you can say the same with the novelties. There's like certain puzzle games that they're easier to pick up and play. Just give a shot and just get some really immediate enjoyment out of them. Whereas the RPGs, it's more about the long haul, and them. I think that's where the fan base comes from. It's the time investment. You have more of an emotional attachment. That's not a word. More of an emotional attachment to something like an RPG, because was it Final Fantasy 12? I think I've got plus 200 hour gameplay save on that, and I'm still not near finishing it. It's been on the back burner for a while, but I must love it to a certain extent if I'm willing to put 200 hours into it. But there you go. There's a variation. I don't like getting rid of games, but then again, I'm careful about what I do buy. So I think what it boils down to is I don't like making mistakes. I'm not a gambler. I'm not impetuous. I don't like making mistakes. One thing I have mentioned in the past, which I don't understand, is this blind faith in new technology that's not yet been released. You see pictures of people going to launch nights of things, midnight launches, and that's just so alien to me. I mean, I respect people who do it, but I find it difficult to understand that sort of blind faith, especially when you when sort of the launch day prices are top dollar, and then it's unproven. The games are unproven. Sometimes, often nowadays, incomplete. But also with the technology, you might find yourself with an N-Gage. You get all worked up about having an N-Gage, and then you find out you've got an N-Gage, but afterwards, or with a 360, there's more longevity in that. But then you buy one on launch, and you're stuck with something with the build quality of a paper napkin. It's not resistant at all to being used. It has just shocking build quality. So in that sense, I'm more careful. But anyway, that's probably another discussion for another day. Just about me being careful and not much of a gambler and being, and also being tight. I'm a tight bastard, so I'm careful about how I spend my money. I like to get my money's worth. That's also very, very, very important. So there you go. That's another extra 7 minutes. Jesus Christ. And that's blown my 8-10 minute video out of the water, especially with this extra section. But now I can let you go. So yeah, thanks for watching. Give Pete a response as well. It'd be nice to hear other people's perspectives. So yeah, I'll let you go. See you later.